just a moment. Let's get into the game. And we are live on Daybreak, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the top right, we have our Zerg representative here in this semi-final. Can he bring this back to level pegging? We'll find out in just a moment. Representing MTL, we have one. And his opponent in the bottom left starting position as the Red Protoss. A very accomplished German player. Really high on a ladder that I recall, but I haven't seen him in too many tournaments. Can he make this one of the ones that we see him at? It is AcRo, who is currently leading 1-0. He is 1 game away from getting to I-47 with that sponsorship package. Now, guys, Daybreak is a map where the rush distance is quite simply significantly longer than we are used to seeing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Nexus first coming out from AcRo here. And also, I think a 2-base all-in is a bit weaker because you need more time to go across to your opponent's base, and it gives them a little bit more time to defend. Obviously, with the warp-in mechanic, if you have a warp prism, that's great, but the initial time to when the attack hits is just that little bit less effective on this map. So it's still entirely possible. We could see warp prism shenanigans into 2-base timing again, but he'll have to execute it pretty darn well. It's by no means impossible for him to go for that strategy. It's just not typical on this particular map. We have got the spawning pool coming down for 1 now, and the probe is going to be frustrating this drone as much as humanly possible at the natural expansion. The drone going to be harassing the probe, trying to get him down to as low hit points as possible. AcRo, though, will probably end up putting the pylon down because we have seen him do that already in previous games. And the Nexus first has indeed gone down for AcRo, meanwhile, back at home. So he's going to be putting down that Nexus before the Forge, and there goes the pylon at the natural expansion. The probe immediately getting ready to go towards the third in case a drone decides to move that way. We have got 4 lings coming out now for 1. 4 lings, of course, the critical number that you need to destroy a pylon faster than it can get built. If you just have 2 lings, pylon blocks are still kind of effective because they can build faster than the lings can do damage to them. And it looks like AcRo has allowed it to finish here because he knows that the third base location hasn't been taken. And this also buys AcRo a little bit of time back at home. Obviously, these lings need to assist in killing off the pylon before one can actually move forward and try and attack AcRo's base. And that gives AcRo enough time to get the cannon up and running as well. Whereas if he cancelled the pylon, there was a small risk that if, say, we had 6 lings incoming, a couple of them could get past the cannon as it completes. And that would result in AcRo taking a little bit of damage. So here we go. Going straight up to the third base is 1 at the moment. We have the probe from AcRo hiding out at what looks like this 5th base location in the forward location. And this Zergling will be able to spot it. Great scouting there from 1. AcRo will not be able to keep this probe there indefinitely. He'll probably move it towards the third base just to completely be sure that the third has been taken. He will get confirmation of that hatch before that probe dies. But that probe looks like it is, oh, there we go, in very dire straits there indeed, and it does indeed kick the bucket. So quick 3-base versus Nexus first, and it looks like we have a little bit of bread and butter PVZ as it currently stands. In the meantime, we have both gases taken in the main base now for AcRo. 1 moving his Overlord to the high grab location. Just wants to make sure he doesn't get picked off by a sneaky early sentry or a stalker. Has a second Overlord up here in the north. Will be able to come down and suicide itself potentially to get a glimpse of any tech that AcRo has going for him later on in the game. There are no more probes out on the map, but 1 continuing to scout with his Zerglings, doing very well indeed. We see Queen moving over to the third base there, as AcRo now puts down his robotics facility, while 1 continues to drone up as much as he can. The current worker supply is 34 for AcRo versus 33 for 1, but his third hatch has just completed. We've got +1 attack incoming now for AcRo. So let's see if he ends up trying to do a bit of a timing with that. Probably not, because the robotics facility is halfway done as well. So he's probably just looking to... he might apply a little bit of pressure with this, but I don't think he'd be going for any particular kill move. as we see a Stalker now moving out towards the 3rd and 4th base locations, trying to pick apart this Overlord, but I think one should be able to move away with it in time. I don't think that's going to go down to the Stalker at all. In the meantime, we have what looks like Chrono Boost on Immortal coming out from AcRo again, so potentially another 2-base timing. Let's see if it ends up being true, and Overlord coming into the base, though, will be able to spot the robotics facility. There is no way that will actually go out in time. He might even start spotting if Chrono Boost is being used. He sees Chrono Boost is being used on, and he will spot the Immortal come out as well. The Overlord will not die in time. And here comes the Immortal, pops straight out, and one can see that the Immortal's popped out. I wonder if that makes him think it could be another 2-base timing. Now, this has to be executed very crisply from AcRo if he wants to make this work, because the rush distance is so large on Daybreak. It just gives one a little bit more time to prepare, but as we saw in that previous game, one had a couple of really nice small victories there in the middle of the map, picking off a couple of sentries and a Stalker, and then AcRo went, okay, you know what? I have superior micro to you, and I'm going to keep all of these Immortals alive. And that's exactly what he did to win that previous game. So I wonder if that's what he's going to be doing again, and he's adding 4 additional gateways. So it looks like more of the same is on the way from AcRo. He has faith in his micro, ladies and gentlemen, and he is not afraid to show it. Going up to 5 gateways now. He is chrono boosting out those Immortals, and he's going to be getting non-stop sentries from this point forwards. So let's see if he's able to make it work on Daybreak. He'll have to move out a little bit earlier, I think. And there we go, actually moving out long before the Warp Prism is complete to the Watchtower. He can see the Watchtower there. A Ling spots the attack moving out. And let's see how well one defends this. He has got some Lings and Roaches out in the middle of the map. He won't be able to pick apart units quite as easily as he did on the previous map because there just aren't that many routes. There are only really 2 main routes above and below the central route with the Destructible Rocks. But he has a little bit more time to prepare, and the Warp Prism is now out. What will MTL's 1 be able to do to defend against this, or is AcRo's micro just too strong? A Ling being sent to the location of the army sees exactly where the attack is in 1. Now up to 121 supply versus 83. His army supply is 63 to 38, but AcRo has a lot of sentry energy and might be able to be very, very cost efficient with this attack. We are mixing in a Zealot or 2 as well with this army composition, and the forward pylons are getting closer and closer to creep. The Warp Prism now out. And we see more Roaches streaming down here. This is going to be pretty close. +1 and Glial Reconstitution are about 20 seconds away from completion. So if AcRo can get rid of a lot of these Roaches before they actually get those upgrades, that's going to be a huge bonus to him. He's on the edge of creep right now, trying to engage at the Watchtower. He's so close to completing. 8 seconds until +1 and Glial complete. And I think one is going to have those upgrades in time for this attack. That's going to help him so much. There we go. Roach speed and +1 completing for him now. He's at 163 supply to the 102 of AcRo. Both sides vying for the Watchtower, and we have force fields going down, but a lot of the Roaches are inside the force fields. I wonder if AcRo is going to be able to hold off this attack this time around, managing to salvage that with a couple of force fields up on top, but the forward pylon gets taken down, more force fields coming down, doing a great job of being cost efficient, but a lot of Stalkers have disappeared now for him, and I think this number of Roaches is too great. The number of sentries actually has gone down to 0, and AcRo gets completely and utterly crushed here on Daybreak. It was always going to be more difficult on Daybreak, and one just demonstrated it. This series is now tied up 1-1.